Good morning, student. Today we have a topic of in the political science 10 plus 2, that is part A, contemporary politics. So what is mean by the contemporary politics? A politics that is after the Second World War called the contemporary politics. In that lesson, first we lesson have the Cold War era. That lesson means to after the Second World War, what happened, how the whole world is divided into the two groups. That first group is related to the first topic, that is World War. Second World War is continued from 1939 to 1945. Then there are the two groups, Axis power and Allied power. In the Axis power, there are the German, Italy, Japan, and then in the Allied power, there are the Soviet Union, USA, Britain, France. So after the Second World War, we know what happened and how the war is ended. When the Allied power nations, especially USA, through the bombs of the nuclear bombs in the two cities of the Japan, then the Axis powers forced us to shut down or the surrender for their weapons or the war. Then the Second World War is ended. After that, Allied powers got the victories over the Axis powers. So this is the name of the two bombs that is thrown on the Japan. The first on the August 6, 1945, the city name is Hiroshima and the bomb name is Little Boy. That is most important objective type question for the CBSE exam pattern. What is the name of the bomb that is thrown on the Hiroshima or when it was thrown? That is, so you must have to remember this fact. Second bomb that is thrown after the Hiroshima bomb thrown, that is on the city of the Nagasaki on the August 9, 1945, and that nuclear bomb name is the Fat Man. So after that, the Japan surrendered for the Second World War, and the Second World War is ended. You have the 2 marks question in the every year, that is how the Second World War is ended. So you have to write that when the American powers or the alien powers throw the bomb on the nuclear bomb on the two cities named the Hiroshima and the Nagasaki of the Japan, then the Japan surrendered for the Second World War. Then mostly the people have to say that after the Second World War, the Cold War is started. What is the Cold War? You have a 2 marks question from the paper point of view. What is the Cold War and what define the Cold War? What do you mean by the Cold War? So Cold War is a period that period of the geopolitical tensions between the Soviet Union and USA. That or their respective alliance, that is one first is a Western, second is a Eastern alliance. So we have to remember that the first group, that is a USA group. USA groups always believe in the democracy. Democracy, we know what is the democracy. Then it also believes in the capitalism. So we have to know about what is the capitalism. Capitalism is a system where the mostly private property is believed, and you have a person have the maximum freedom and the state have the limited powers. So that system is called the capitalism. Second, they have the alliance or they have a group, and their group is called the Western Alliance. They also signed mostly the treaties with the all over the world. The first treaty that is signed in the 1949, April 1949. You have to remember this date. That is called the NATO. North Atlantic Treaty Organization. You have to know about the full form. Then is a SEATO, that is the Southeast Asia Treaty Organization, that was signed in the December 1954. Then they also have the CENTO, that is the Central Treaty Organization, that is signed by the 1955. You also have the short name from this treaty, that is Baghdad Pact. Baghdad Pact is also called the CENTO, that was signed between the USA, Pakistan, Iran, Iraq. So these are the main points of the USA. Then we have a USSR, that is a Union of the Soviet Socialist Republic. Under the USSR, there are the 15 countries. The major country is Russia, that is the modern Russia. USSR believes in the socialism. Socialism is totally opposite of the USA's capitalism. Socialist believes in the government, not in the public property. They always believes in the socialism. They also believe in the communism. Communism is a way or a system where mostly persons have the right. They have no right of a private property. There are the totally public property, government property is there. Government provides them the work, government provides them the wages, government is everywhere. Then also they have a Eastern Alliance. You have to remember that USA signed the Western Alliance, but Eastern Alliance was signed by the USSR. They also have a military package. You have to know about the NATO, CENTO, SEATO, but on the USSR also signed, that is called the Warsaw Pact, that was signed by in the 1955. This is the one of the most important questions you have to take in your pre-board exams, in the final exams, and everywhere you have the political exams of the 10+2. That is the logic of deterrence. That means that the both countries have a powers, both countries have a alliance. But why not they have fight the Third World War? That was called the logic of deterrence. It means the both sides have a capacity to attack on each other and defend the attack. Means USA and the USSR have the capacity to attack on each other. But they also have the capacity to defend their attack. But they have the fear about the Third World War. That is fear called the logic of deterrence, because they know that due to the Third World War, they have a lot of destruction, because both countries have a nuclear powers, nuclear weapons, nuclear missiles. So they have a fear. If the Third World War is to be conducted, then the neither side, nor the USA, nor the USSR, have the capacity to afford the internet war, or means they have the capacity after the Third World War. They didn't have a capacity to continue their against in the next World War. That is for your 4 marks question, that is a Cuban Missile Crisis. You have a question, what is the Cuban Missile Crisis, what are the causes of it, how it is solved. That is one of the most important questions. You have to know about the names of these. This is the president of Fidel Castro, that is the president of Cuba. He is one of the military person. Then USA have a John F. Kennedy. USSR have a Nikita Castro. So that the issue is that after the 1960 period, the USA USSR set their missiles. USSR set their missiles in the Cuba. They have a nuclear missile. They have because the Cuba is also a communist country. Cuba and the USSR have a friendly relation because the Cuba USSR provide the diplomatic support. They also provide them the financial support. That is why they have a friendly nations. USSR have a fear that America attack on the Cuba because the Cuba and the USSR of the neighboring countries. They have a fear that the USA must attack on Cuba and through the federal Castro's government. So to defend the Cuban government, they set their missiles in the Cuba. But after the 3 weeks, USSR takes the no action. But when they got the news about the missile sets in the Cuba, they talk about their alliance, and the alliance provide the direct warning to the USSR or the NICTA government to take out their missiles from Cuba. They also provide the orders to their armies or the military that no bar ships should be entered in the Cuban area or the Cuban boundaries. So USSR have both pressures and the whole world have a fears of the Third World War because they have a fear that if the crisis will continue between the USSR or the USA, then the Third World War should be started. So under the pressure of the USA or the whole world, the USSR takes out the missiles from Cuba and also have a promise that or a sign a treaty that they never set the missiles in the future from